There are a very wide array of things available for those of us who enjoy camping and backpacking, survival in the wild and the wilderness. And cordage is one of the fundamentals that we need to get. But there are many different kinds, and one of the most popular, for good reason, is paracord. Now what you're looking at here is a 550 paracord, but not an ordinary one. This is what's called survivor cord. There are a few brands. Some of them have some slight differences, but they're all more or less what you see here. And survivor cord is made up of mostly synthetic materials. There's nothing particularly exciting about it until we open it up. And if we cut the end, because the end has been sealed with flame, you find that contained within it are a number of different fibers. Now, this is typical of most 550 paracords. They have lots of little strands in them, but this has more than the usual number. And in fact, what I'm going to do is going to cut off the other end so we can strip this out completely, and you'll see what's inside. So we have this outer casing, which is still a woven fabric, polyester I believe, quite strong, and if you were setting up a shelter, you could still use this without the contents. The 550 in the 550 paracord denotes that it can handle 550 pounds of strain before breaking. That's over 200 kilos. So you can use this for climbing and so forth. Like this, it won't be quite as strong because each of these strands provide part of the strength, but in an emergency situation, the reason it's called survivor cord is because you can actually get more cordage out of it for different purposes. These thinner strands, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and finally 7. These are individually quite strong and can be used for tying wood together in bushcrafting projects. They can be used again for shelter making, a wide variety of things. Now there are a couple of other cords that you find in the survivor cord that you don't find in the standard 550. This is what you would find in the standard 550, but you have 3 other cords. There's an orange one, there's a very thin one, and there's another thin one. Well, the slightly less thin one, thinner than these, but not quite as thin as that one, this is actually a high breaking strain fishing line. It's a slightly yellow color. This one, quite thin, the thinnest of them all, is a floss which can actually be used as thread with needle and thread for a pairing kit. And then this orange one, which is dyed orange so it's more easily identified, is actually made from jute. And if it's actually waxed jute, so even if it gets wet, it still has some pretty good fire making capabilities. And what I'm going to do is field strip this a little bit. Once we've field stripped the jute, so in a nutshell, that is what survivor cord is. You have the outer sheath, the 7 inner strands, you have repair cord, fishing line, and fire tinder. Useful to have, particularly in an emergency situation. Of course, once you take it apart, you're not going to put it back together again. So I would say if you are a fan of paracord for various things in bushcraft, I would have a normal hank of paracord available, A 50-foot hank is usually good for most things. And then if you want to have, whether it's 10 foot or 50 feet or whatsoever, of survivor cord, that's good too. As I say, you can use survivor cord in the usual ways you would use paracord, and only field strip it if it's necessary. Or alternatively, it's good to have standard paracord and a bit of survivor cord in case of emergency. It is actually useful stuff. I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you found that useful. If you enjoy this video, we do one a week, all kinds of topics, particularly relating to camping, bushcraft, hiking, this kind of thing. If you like, please hit like and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we're having our new videos out. Please share and please subscribe. We hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again next week.